Alright, let's talk about Justin Herbert. He'll be playing again tonight, but I wanted to make a video talking about his first game against the Raiders. I thought he played very well. I still think there's maybe some ways the Chargers offense could be better, but let's talk about what he was able to do successfully and how he was able to have such a great game. We'll start off with this play. So it's going to be kind of a weird concept where two receivers are going to actually end up at a certain point being right next to each other, but basically they're both trying to get sort of in a gap in coverage here, past the linebackers, but underneath the defensive backs who are deep. Little gap there where potentially one can get open. But before this play begins, I want you to watch Justin Herbert. Focus on him. Watch how when he takes the snap, pressure comes to his left and he's able to scramble out and get to around this point to where eventually a receiver is able to get open down the field. But this is just what Justin Herbert does so effectively, and it's part of why a lot of the best quarterbacks in football at this day and age are great at this type of stuff. I mean, really, with the exception of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, the top tier quarterbacks can all do this. They can all scramble out. They can all just give themselves a little bit more time to where they can make those throws. And, guys like Rodgers and Brady have been in the league so long, they don't necessarily have to do that stuff because they're so good at making reads. But for the younger guys, you almost have to be able to do this if you're going to be a top tier quarterback right away. And Herbert absolutely can. So as you see, makes a great off balance throw. It was a bit low, a little bit behind. I won't deny that. Could have been maybe a little bit more accurate, but still, you're throwing off balance. You're giving yourself more time to where, especially going against zone coverage, windows are going to open up. Guys are going to get open if you can make it, give the receivers 5 seconds to make something happen. And that happens with just being able to scramble outside the pocket. It can really be a game changer sometimes. I thought that some of how the Chargers were able to be effective were plays like this. So it's going to be a relatively simple concept where you have zone coverage, you have a receiver run over the middle, and you have a play action. But here's where things get interesting. You don't have a receiver lined up to your right, as in a wide receiver. You have two tight ends who are eligible receivers lined up to the offense's right, but they appear to be blocking here. So because of this, the Raiders are not really paying attention too hard on covering deep in that section of the field. So for the corner who's in charge of covering towards the bottom of the screen, he's playing very far in as it might be a run. Look at how when Herbert runs the play action, you see the corner just now is starting to read the play and get further deep. This was a good play call. This is kind of one of those, it's not like the craziest play concept you will ever see, but it was a well-timed play call. And sometimes a well-timed play call is all you need. In fact, oftentimes that's all you need. So Herbert is going to then make this throw down the field, and they are able to pick up a big chunk play. So was that the most difficult play from Herbert? No. But hey, at the end of the day, if you're getting the ball down the field, that's the goal. It was a well-designed play, and Herbert still is able to make a very accurate throw down the field because he does have that, great arm strength and arm talent in general, so that obviously helps. However, one of these plays is one of those Justin Herbert plays. I don't know what else to call it other than it's a Justin Herbert play where it's going to be a cover 3 zone. You see the route running over the middle. So again, a lot of what they're doing. The Raiders kind of have a coverage where they do a lot of the same stuff. So the Chargers are going to do a lot of the same stuff to attack that style of coverage. Justin Herbert is going to run a play action here. He then, with when pressure comes, gets outside the pocket. So all of this stuff well and good. But here's where things, in my opinion, get very interesting. So you have a window to make this throw, but it's a tough one, right? Jonathan Abram, the safety, is going to come in and try and make a play. And keep in mind, Justin Herbert, a right-handed quarterback running to his left. He's throwing, in a weird spot right here. So it's going to be more difficult to make this throw. But this is just where, one of the things I say is guys with better arm talents, it's just going to automatically make you make better decisions. Someone like Baker Mayfield or Tua probably throws an interception here if they try to make this throw because they don't have the arm talent to fit it in that gap. However, when Herbert does it, he just zips it in there and they're able to get a big completion right there. So just having arm talent sometimes makes a decision that will be bad for one quarterback good for another quarterback. To me, this isn't him getting bailed out by his arm talent. It's him knowing what his arm talent is and knowing what windows he can fit the ball through and then exploiting that. This is just smart football, in my opinion, by Justin Herbert. Like this one's another one where it's just like, how does this even happen? Who does this other than Herbert? I don't know. It's going to be a zone coverage play, and you see the route that he wants to look towards. It's going to kind of be in a gap in coverage, potentially, in between the two safeties, but past the middle linebacker. But worth noting, the middle linebacker on this play is going to be playing very far deep. So because of that, that can definitely disrupt some things. Like watch, Herbert takes the snap, and right here, so one thing worth noting is number 5 for the Raiders, the middle linebacker, he is going further deep, but he has his back turned towards the quarterback. So he's kind of trying to get into the passing lane, but he won't be able to read the ball and be able to knock it away unless he gets his head turned around. So there is a risk factor if he gets his head turned around and you try to make this throw. It could be an interception. We do see that happen sometimes, but again, one of the reasons why I'm always a bit more lenient on interceptions in general is a lot of times worst case scenario can result in an interception regardless of the throw. It's the NFL. Guys are good. Guys make good plays. But still, there's a risk factor. How do you minimize the risk while maximizing the potential advantage of getting a big completion here? Well, the best way to do it is by get the ball in there quickly, right? The best way to make sure a goalie doesn't stop the puck is by, shooting the puck quickly, right? It just gives less reaction time, less time to react for the defender. So Herbert this is just a fastball if I've ever seen one all the way down the field for a touchdown. And that's just, again, one of those plays where a quarterback with lesser talent does not make that throw. And even like really good quarterbacks, I don't know if they make that throw. I don't know if Joe Burrow is able to pull off a play like this. And this is why when people talk about Herbert being one of the elite quarterbacks in football, which he's at least close to, I'm not sure if he's quite a top 5 quarterback, but he's knocking on a doorstep and very well could be considered one. And this is why, because he can just make throws that other guys just can't make. One last play, this is another great example of, a lot of times when I evaluate players in general, not just quarterbacks, but any player, is I watch their tape and say, could a league average, not even league average, could a replacement level player have made that play? Someone that you take off, off the bench, sign off the street, just, a person who belongs in the NFL but isn't a star, could they have been able to make that play? And if the answer is yes, then I don't really give them much credit for it. And if the answer is no, then I give them more credit for it. So this play, it's a man coverage play, so that's what you want to note here. And Herbert's going to make his read to the left. However, when he does, they had a concept they thought could work. You could fire one to the route that's closer towards the left and maybe gain a yard or two, but that's all you're getting here. This play is not going to get you much of anything. So this is one of those, okay, a replacement level player probably gets 1 or 2 yards on this play. What does Justin Herbert do? Herbert is instead going to scramble and then makes this throw, which is just an incredible throw. I mean, he saw the defender's back was turned, and again, can throw it so quickly, he fired it in a perfect spot to where his receiver could catch it while the defender didn't have time to adjust. Then his receiver does a great job after the catch of picking up a touchdown. So it's these types of plays that makes you just, get in awe of Justin Herbert, and it's why the Chargers are going to be a legitimate threat when they have a guy like Herbert who can just consistently do these kind of things. Don't let the final score fool you. I thought that was a bit misleading. I think the offense played well, and I think Justin Herbert played even better. I would still like to see them maybe have a better possession receiver here and there of just someone who can go over the middle and make catches that way. But they're still a great offense. That's just what could maybe make them the elite offense. That's my only real nitpick so far. I think that there's a lot very good. And I have no real nitpicks for Herbert at all. I think Herbert's great. I think that, Herbert is incredible, and he's continuing to show it. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.